Hey guys, welcome back. Today's day 25 and we're going to talk about slope-intercept form. So you can, if you miss class, make sure you look at the warm-up and try to do the problems, and I'm going to go over them right now. So last class we learned how to find the slope of lines, and if you look at the first example, it's a horizontal line, and we learned about the silly acronym HOI that helps us remember the horizontal line. It actually tells us the slope is 0. So the slope would be 0, and remember we use m to represent the slope. You could also find take 2 points and think of your rise over your run. So those 2 points right there, I'd go up 0 and over 1, and again my slope would be 0. Okay. If I look at number 2, the slope of this line is positive. I know because I think of the video we watched last class. We're going up the hill. This is puff, puff, positive. To identify the actual slope, I need to first identify 2 points on the line, because it doesn't matter, your slope is going to be the same on a line no matter what 2 points you pick, but we want to pick 2 points that are intersecting right at whole number ordered pairs. So I'm going to pick these 2 points right there to make it easier, and I'm actually going to think of my rise over my run. So my rise is going up, so I go up 2, positive 2, and I run positive 1. So my slope would be 2 over 1, which would be equal to 2. All right, looking at number 3, I immediately see it's a negative slope. I'm going to identify 2 points that I can calculate the slope with rise over run. So if I look at that, I can go up 1 and then to the left 1, so 1 over negative 1, which gives me a negative 1 slope. All right, and number 4, I can quickly see it's a vertical line. I think of our silly acronym from last class, VUX, which the second letter helps me remember that my slope is actually undefined. Or maybe you thought of the corny video we watched where the guy fell off the cliff and yelled the worst math curse word ever, undefined. Okay, so then we moved on to determine the slope between 2 points using the formula. So the formula we used was the change in y, our y2 minus y of 1, divided by x2 minus x of 1. So if we plug in the values for number 5, we would say 3 minus 1 divided by negative 6 minus 3. 3 minus 1 is 2, negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9, so we end up with a negative 2/9 slope. Okay. Number 6, when we plug in the values, we get negative 4 minus 2 divided by negative 6 minus a negative 4, which is adding 4. Okay, so we end up with a negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6, and negative 6 plus 4 is a negative 2. Negative 6 over negative 2 simplifies to be positive 3. There's our slope. Okay, so then we ended class with finding the missing coordinate. We used our slope formula, y2 minus y of 1 divided by x2 minus x of 1. All right, we plug in our values. So our slope is 2. If we have a whole number, we like to write it as a fraction. So 2 over 1 is going to be equal to 3 minus our missing coordinate, which is x, divided by 2 minus 5. I like to then simplify it a little bit, okay, because I know that 2 minus 5 is going to be a negative 3. We then use cross products to solve for x. So we've got 2 times negative 3 is going to then be equal to 1 times 3 minus x. All right, negative 6 is equal to 3 minus x. Okay, we distribute, but in this case we're just distributing a 1. And then we can subtract 3 from both sides. So we get negative 9 is equal to negative x, but then we divide both sides by negative 1, so our x is equal to 9. Okay, moving on, you could go on to Schoology and look at the homework key for 24B, but moving on, we've got our notes for today. So today we're going to learn something called slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, in this form, the m is the slope, just like we learned last class. And the new variable we're introducing is the b. The b is actually the y-intercept. Okay, and if you remember, a y-intercept is an ordered pair. It starts with 0, and then whatever the b value is would go there. So that would be the y-intercept. Okay, and because an equation of a line can have an infinite number of ordered pairs, the x and the y value in this form is just representative of those ordered pairs. Okay, so if we look at number 1, it says to identify the slope and the y-intercept for each linear equation. So each one of these is an equation of a line or a linear equation. If I look at it, it's in the form y equals mx plus b, so it's pretty easy to pull out the coefficient before the x value is our slope, so that's just going to be 2. And our y-intercept is the b, okay, which is the constant, which is going to be 5. So as long as we're in slope-intercept form, it's really easy to pull out the slope. So number 2, the coefficient before the x is 1/2, and then the constant here is -2. That would be the b, the y-intercept. And remember, with the y-intercept, it's really an ordered pair, 0, 5, and this one 0, -2. All right, if I look at number 3, notice we don't have a b, okay? That's because the b really is a 0, okay? And in this case, our slope is 4. All right, so if there is no b, it's just 0. All right, that means that the y-intercept, if we actually graphed it, would go through the origin. Okay, that's how we get a y-intercept of 0. All right. Moving on to number 4. Now this is one of our special cases, y equals 10. So that makes me think of Hoy, because with Hoy, y equals is how we write the equation. So Hoy helps me remember my slope is 0. And in this case, my y-intercept would just be 10 where it crosses. It would be actually a horizontal line that